If you are using a Windows system, you are familiar with C drive, D drive, and so on. Windows by default uses C drive as its system directory, which contains all the operating system and application files. Then you can have other drives as you like. Apart from Windows, Linux has a completely different type of file system. Linux is structured into different directories as we can compare them to folders in Windows. Also, one thing to remember, everything in Linux is treated as a file. That means every directory is like a file which contains other files. Linux file system, which follows the Filesystem Hierarchy Standard, or FHS, is inherited from Unix operating system standard. Unix was a very popular operating system back in 1970s and 80s. Mac OS is also a Unix-like operating system. Linux file system is a little bit complex for beginners to understand, so we will talk about only the most important ones for us to know in this video. Also, Linux is open source, that makes it more diverse. It's hard to track the file system of every distribution of Linux. So we will use the Linux Foundation standard. It will be easier for us to understand now, and also later we can compare other file system with this. In Linux file system, all directories are under one single parent directory called the root. All other directories are arranged under this directory, which can include different storage devices, folders, etc. Under this we have bin directory. This directory includes the necessary binary files for softwares and booting the operating system. Now we will focus on USR directory. This directory contains all the softwares, libraries, and softwares users installed. We will see some overlap with bin directory with this. Then we have sbin under USR directory. It contains all the super user binaries. Remember, we use shutdown and reboot command. They are inside this directory. You might get a little bit confused why we need all these different directories for tools. We actually need the USR bin and USR sbin directory for our regular use. The bin directory is required for the operating system to boot, including some basic commands. Although some Linux distributions have merged these directories, this is not in our concern at this moment. After this, we have the home directory. This is where our user files like downloads, documents are in. Home user is also represented by the tilde sign and is the directory a regular user lands in after a successful boot. One very interesting directory we need to know about is etc directory, or some people call as etc directory. This is where all the config files are located in. You will find all the registered users in the passwd file, also the user's passwords in shadow file in this directory. To become a general Linux user, we need good understanding of these directories. Also, there are other directories in the Linux FHS. They are boot directory, which contains system files to successfully boot into the operating system. The dev directory, where all the devices shows up. Lib directory contains necessary library files, kernel modules. Media directory is external storage mount point for like pen drive. If you use dual boot with Windows and all your Windows drive partitions are visible from the Linux, this is where you will find them. MNT is traditional mount point, and now it is used for manually mounting storage devices. OPT folder is the place where sometimes we find the softwares we installed manually. Proc directory holds the system infos. Root is the home directory for super user. Run is to store temporary data created by system processes. SRV stores the data from the servers. Sys is another directory which stores system info. It also has the external devices infos. TMP directory is where the temporary files are stored by the system. Finally, the var directory, which has all the log files generated by the system, firewalls. It can also contain variable data, such as caches, print jobs, databases. As I have said earlier, we will be familiar with this directories by time to time, so you don't have to worry about everything the Linux file system offers. For this course, we will focus on the home directory and maybe sometimes the etc and USR directory. You can share your thoughts and any questions in the comments section and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.